I do not want to be controversial. I don't mean to cut down or degrade any teaching method book, established way to teach piano. I have anyone that's teaching piano, thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you. Because you're teaching music, and or whatever you're teaching. You can be teaching guitar or flute or anything. I just really appreciate music teachers. So if I suggest something, it's not that I'm disagreeing with all that's out there. I'm just suggesting something like, let's just think about this just for the fun of it. So here's that fun idea. Okay, so a lot of method books in the beginning, they have a positioning where you have the little student or old student, and I've taught adults like this, where they have their hands like this and they just have a position, and then they just push their fingers down in that position. They don't move that much. They might move just a little bit, but they just are pushing down their fingers. That's all they're doing. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. However, part of piano playing is hopping. Hop like a rabbit, hop like a rabbit. Remember all those hop like rabbits? You have to hop. You can't just finger it all. And yes, in scaling and stuff like that or whatever, you under thumb of your fingers too, and then move forward and backward and just like, all over, great. Yes. But sometimes you have to hop. Sometimes you have to hop. And you have to hop different distances. And they can be small hops. But they're a hop. So getting back to my 5-finger idea there, if you're in this one position when you started, and here's the idea, wouldn't it be better for a very beginner if they did actually just use one finger and hop in between the notes when they were going dong, ding, 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 and they would just go hopping? Now, I'm a big thumb user, so if I was to teach it, probably I'd try to make them only use their thumb because I always want the thumb on the keys. So even if they were using their pointer finger or their second finger or their third finger, whatever, fourth finger, I would think it would be great to learn how, without just moving your fingers like this, how to look at the keyboard and move, or especially as a lot of piano lessons are taught with music, looking at the music or looking at the keyboard, not looking at the keyboard, looking at the music, and learning how to hop that distance. So even if it's just like a whole step or a minor third or something like that, one of the things that I always think is in between D sharp and F sharp, that, or in between A sharp and C sharp, that hop right there, that hop, right? Hopping like a rabbit, hopping like a rabbit, hopping like a rabbit, hopping like a rabbit. Okay, I'm gonna put this over here. Okay, wait, yeah, watching me. Hop. This one hop in between A sharp and C sharp and between D sharp and F sharp is just so, if you're just touching sharps on the keyboard, like I began all these of just teaching keyboard, like go for the sharps first, go for the sharps, find G sharp in the middle of the threes and the twos and the threes and see the patterns of that first, because you have this easy feel there. Well, anyways, there's this natural hop that occurs in those sharps as you're just going sharp, 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 sharp. You start feeling that hop from sharp to sharp for one thing, and that distance of a whole step. From sharp to sharp, a lot of times it's just a whole step. But sometimes it's a minor third. Like in between A sharp and C sharp, or between D sharp and F sharp. That natural hop is just built in if I was playing all sharps. And when am I playing all the other times? Whole steps. If I'm just going between a sharp to a sharp, like F sharp to G sharp, that's a whole step. That's a whole step from A sharp to from G sharp to A sharp. From A sharp to C sharp, it's a minor third. So that was a different hop, but yet I'm able to almost perfectly play sharp, 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 and do that hop correctly and not stumble down into the letters, staying on the sharps. I'm able to stay over there and make that hop. And also remember, I'm using my first and fourth finger because I think that's the best way to play octaves when you're really practicing stuff instead of using first and fifth finger, because the fifth finger is like an emergency little finger, and it's just good to be just hanging out there. A lot of piano teachers, again, don't agree with that. But I think that little hanging out fifth finger is good because then you're playing like a duck, like this, instead of straight on, like this, and you're able to go 1/4 as an octave. And also look at that interval between your first and second finger. It's huge. You can go like a fifth or something, but I digress. Let's go back to that hopping. Okay, so how could you practice hopping? Okay, so that was just the point of this. Hop like a rabbit, practice. You know, hop like a rabbit, practice. Oh, one thing about hopping like a rabbit, it could be like jumping like a cat. Because the idea is these animals know how to distance their hops, right? In the animal world, an instinct is hopping of many animals. Leaping, you could say leaping, but also hopping. All right, so I have this hop going, right? All right, so can you then, or should you, practice hopping distances? Oh, wait, I'm just gonna go. Can I just go back to that five finger thing again? So if that little beginner, from the very beginning, had to learn what a whole step, what a minor third, or a fifth, whatever interval felt like as a hop, ding, wouldn't that be good? I think that would be good. If a beginner learned how to hop early, I think it would be good. That's the idea. Okay, now, also there's other hoppings I just like to now digress on to a little bit more advanced. All right, so in hopping, technically it is from either hand, okay? It can be related to, like, if you had to do something within a section and then hop to the next octave, or the next block, as I like to call it. You know, so you have to go, and I somehow, I'm not going to try to look. It's not as easy as you think. But if I played it enough, and I knew I just made that tonight. Wait a minute. I am slightly looking. I have to admit, I am. But I can also talk to you, and I've done that hop so many times, that octave hop, which is a far hop. Anyone is a far hop. That is a far hop. However, a far hop is practicable and something you should do practicing. You should practice a octave hop. You should practice a fifth hop. You should practice this on letters and on sharps. Not just on letters and sharps, but yes, with letters. I've just been using the sharps because it's easy for me to feel that hop and where I am. While as in letters, it's a little bit harder to feel exactly where you are because you kind of have to look a little bit. But also at the same time, you can combine the sharps with letter and get some cool things. But anyways, that hop right there. E, A, I'm not looking, but I know it. Well, I'm not always perfect on it. Here's F, here's a fourth hop. I can also hear, I kind of adjust, but I'm adjusting in my mind that hop. I am adjusting, and yes, I can glance at to get that exact hop, but if you had the feel of the hop learned, wouldn't it make, even if you had to glance along with it, your hopping more accurate and better and faster and easier to read if you had to read music, or if you just had to jam or whatever, or if you wanted to do something as a hop. It wouldn't scare you. You've seen it, you've tried it, you've practiced the hop. That's a cool thing. All right, now, there's another type of hopping that I think is commonly known in the left hand. Oh, by the way, both those hoppings, octave, fifth, whatever, occur in both hands equally, if not the same. I mean, I can't think of one hand that has more hopping than the other. They're both good hop. And they have to hop. Remember, a hop I consider even from just going, heck, if you just want to go to a chromatic neighbor, and I call that a hop if you're just using one finger, you know. But I also want to go into the old-fashioned piano playing. It's not, I don't know if it's stride piano or whatever, but it's when you take a note and then you hit a chord. So you're actually going from down, and so, you know, from a bass note to a chord, from a bass note to a chord. Yeah, that's right. Now that hop there, can I not look and get it? Well, I can hear it, and if I get a glance is always important, and I don't have to be playing anything in particular in the, well, hopefully I'd be playing with the correct letters that I want to in the right hand guitar part, but the most thing is I'm creating this hop in the left hand. And I'm sure that when I was first beginning that distance of going from a big bass note way down there, way up to around middle C, a chord, but I was playing a bass note first and then a chord, it must have been kind of scary for me at first. When I first did it, it's like, whoa, way down, way up here. It must have been slow. You did? All right, so, right? I mean, when you start something like that, it's like, wow, that's gonna be how, but then it speeds up. And then you play all the chords that you know. All right, so here's my point. If you are hopping that far, at first it might be a little scary, but then it'll become very much fun. And I am glancing, I admit right now I'm talking to you, I'm glancing, but I'm able to talk to you too because I've kind of practiced that hop, that long distance from the way down octave to a middle chord hop. So also, I want to say that visually, remember hopping from octave, seeing that is good because be able to octave with both hands is great, but with chords, any place you go, that hop from octave is cool. And also, any interval kind of hopping that you have to do naturally when you're playing music, you're always hopping, and that's cool music. And so anything that you want to play is hopped, has hopping in it, and you want to hop like a rabbit, and you want to practice. So you want to hop like a rabbit and do some hop like a rabbit practice. That's not a hop. Then you want to do some hop like a rabbit practice, you do something like this. And way down here, or just both singing. Or let's say you want to do some hand practice, like all sharps. Just feeling that hard hop. Oh, let's try the same. I think that's great. Hop, 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 hop. I'm not watching. I'm not looking. And I'm just used to doing that minor third because I figured it out on the sharps first. Just that little hop. Just a little hop is different than the whole step. I went to this minor third. Remember that. What I've just said a long time ago, and I'm saying it again now. That's a cool thing to start with, and then try to do that on the letters without looking. And again, I'm using 1 and 4 for my octaves. That's the cool. And down and up, and not looking. And that's cool thing. You know that little hop, and then you can just expand it. You want to do it. Well, this is fun stuff. You can hop anywhere you want, and you can practice hopping, and then you'll be better, much better player. Great player. Great. You will. Promise. You will. Hop it. Hop like a rabbit, hop like a rabbit, hop like a rabbit.